Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the multi dimensions of you. I am really excited about today. I have an amazing guest. Not only is she a guest on this show, and this is our fifth episode. So I'm excited about that as well. Rolling along, season one, episode five. So excited about how things are moving along here. And I also want to just bring in another dimension that you can consider with regard to yourselves. You don't need to be just considered a lawyer or a doctor or a skier or a golfer. There are so many multi dimensions that you have, and why not expand on them? Maybe one you really, really have a deep desire to do and you've been tentative about. So I want to bring these amazing, successful entrepreneurs and show you that they also have past histories. They're doing something that they love today, and maybe it might be a great fit for you. So I had the pleasure of introducing you to not only a wonderful coach and mentor to me, and she certainly has helped me progress my marketing skills forward, but she's also become a friend. And I think that is probably more important than anything. So her name is Maian LaSalle, and I'm going to turn it over to her to introduce herself to you and about a little of what she does and what she's been doing. So, Marion, take it away.
Well, thank you, Jesse. It's so nice to be here on number five.
Yes.
That's great. That's wonderful. Well, okay, so who I am, just like Jesse said, can change, and it has changed over the years. But the one thing that has remained the same is my love for community, my love for people. And so, however I can do that, I am good with it. So, I remember a long time ago, I started out, this is way before computers. I started out helping people get a roommate. So
Oh,
people were kind of nervous. My husband was in the Air Force, and so we were constantly moving. It was ridiculous to try to buy a house or rent somewhere because then you were stuck. And anyway, so renting was really a big thing back then. Renting a room, and so I helped people by being the roommate connector. I would
ah,
meet with everyone, get their driver's license and their contact information and interview them, make sure they were a good fit for the person, and they would pay me to find them a good roommate.
wow. Who
It
knew?
was
That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you put ads in the newspaper and things like that. I had a thriving business helping people, and that really did help me as a person. So helping people just makes me happy. So little by little, things went by as computers came aboard. As a matter of fact, as the IT industry started ramping up, I got even more excited because now I can talk to people all over the world, not just in my little community.
Yeah, isn't
so
that?
so
Oh, I
that's
love it.
yeah. I started. I owned a company, grew it from very beginning. Was an IT company. We did networking and computer service for small businesses, manufacturing, a lot of medical communities.
Mm.
A lot of time, effort, and stress was in that job. So I eventually got to the point where I still like computers, but I don't want all that stress. So I
Exactly.
sold my company to my business partner and I moved into web design. And I
Uh-huh.
found that I could help people take their passion that they had inside and share it with videos and pictures and websites and blogs and all the things that that were inside them could be shared out into the world. So I've remained there in that process. It looks a little different sometimes. I'm a trainer, I'm a teacher, I'm a web designer, but the whole time I'm helping people. I'm helping them with their branding or their whatever it is that they want to say. I love writing. It's one getting what you have to say out into the world either by video or like a
Hmm.
blog or a podcast, something like that. It really floats my boat.
Wow, wow, wow. That is so amazing. And I've known you, like, I guess well, over a year, but I think more closely in the last 6 months or so. Time flies, so I'm not quite
Yes.
100% sure. But I absolutely know about your web design. And then I heard through the grapevine that someone was doing these wonderful calls. Again, back to your passion about community and the importance of that, and helping individuals with a particular tool for marketing that we are all a part of, that could help anyone who wants to design their own website and their own, marketing. And that's when my ears perked up, because I come from a technical background, but it's a tool that I had never used before. So doing that, and I had used it a number of years ago, kind of lost and forgotten a lot of things, and it advanced and it's changed. I needed help. And let me tell you, folks, this lady, along with a wonderful partner who unfortunately couldn't make it today because her mom is not feeling quite well, has been in the hospital. So her name is Christy. The two of them run an amazing training. And I'll tell you right now that it's all to you and Christy that moved me forward, got my marketing out there, all working up and running within a very short period of time. And I'm feeling so good about it. And it's because of what she saw, she visioned for other people. Um, so, having said some of that, what would you say some of your challenges have been around that?
Ooh, okay. So technology's uh, always been a friend of mine. So I'm not going to say that's the challenge, but I will tell you that that's most people's challenge,
Most
is
people's,
how
right?
to integrate all the technology that comes
Right.
out. So between cell phones and computers and iPads and software that has to run on all that, it can get complicated and it can get kind of hairy sometimes. So
Mm.
for me, I think my challenges have always been how to get the word out.
Mm.
How to get
Right.
people to look at, to notice, to see, and really engage in my clients' my things, their things, everybody, you know. So a lot of people revert to paying for ads, and I have never ever paid for an ad. And
Oh,
I know
wow.
that's a go-to for a lot of
Wow.
people. So I have to keep up with what Google wants. I have to keep up with what the algorithms of social media, what they're looking for. That has been a big challenge. I'm not going to say I can't overcome it because I still refuse to pay for ads.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I can give enough good content. I can go on enough platforms that I can get the eyeballs that we're all looking for. Now, I'm not against anyone else paying for ads.
Right.
I just choose not to do it for myself and for my clients.
Totally understand, because if anyone listening here has ever been in marketing or has a business and wants to promote their business, they know that's a challenge. But this lady, I truly do believe if you kind of follow a lot of what she has done and has proven results with, I would say you might want to connect with her and find out more on how you might be able to do that as well, because we know marketing can get very, very expensive. And that may not always work out in your budget, especially if you're just starting out, right? So, with that, maybe you'd like to share a success story. I know you have many, but perhaps you have one that you could share with us?
Oh, sure. Every client of mine is, a story in their own. But this one is really heartfelt for me.
Mhm.
He's a gentleman in his 90s, and he wrote a book about his honeymoon. And his wife passed away, and he really wanted to not only remember all the good times that they had on their honeymoon, but he wanted to share it. So a friend of mine helped him write it in a book. And so they got the book up on Amazon, but it really wasn't going anywhere. And so
Right.
they decided that if he had a website, that maybe a lot more people would see his book.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I had the pleasure of taking all his photos. Like he's in his 90s, so you can imagine what kind of photos I got. They were really old and they were really detailed, and it was his 6 month honeymoon that they took in a little red car, a little
Oh my
convertible, and his
God.
wife. It was so adorable. I just enjoyed every second of working with this young man.
Well,
And then turning over the website to him. And one of the things that you talked about earlier was the tools that we're using. If he could and he wanted to, he could take that website now and make changes on his own. He's not, very technical, and at this
right.
point in his life, he's not going to. But anytime we need to make any changes, we can do that. His book editor can even go in and be an administrator on that account and make changes for him. So to me, that was a success.
Oh my goodness. For sure. I know that had to do so much to and for him, as you mentioned, emotionally from the heart. It was a
Yes,
beautiful capture of his
yes.
past with his beautiful wife and his time together. Oh my gosh, that's very touching, and I can understand why that would be so special. You talked about technical skills. Um, so if someone wanted to incorporate something with you and get involved, what would they need to know? What would they, or maybe explain that a little bit as far as moving forward with something like that?
Can you rephrase that question? I'm not really sure what it
Well,
is
the
that you're
technical
asking.
skills that might be necessary to have your own website. Now, you could,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, sure. So there's several ways to look at this. And when I'm counseling or helping someone come up with ideas on how to create their website, my first thought is, are you going to do this yourself, or are you going to let someone else do it? Either
Right.
everything or a majority of it. So that's the first thing I do, is figure out where their not necessarily their technical skills are, but what do they want? Are they busy and they just want someone to handle it? And then when it's done, they can learn how to manipulate it and add more pages, bring in pictures, that type of thing. Or do they just want someone to handle it completely? Or we have a DIY program where
Oh,
you literally could do it all yourself.
wow.
So when I say do it all yourself, what I mean by that is there are training videos, there's groups of people inside our community that are just willing to answer any question that you might come up with. Now
Oh,
that's a little slower process. If you learn to do it yourself, it's a software that you have to learn. So it may be that you don't have the time. So that's what I try to figure out is, uh, do you have money or time or both?
right, right. Exactly. Yeah, because we know that time is so valuable to people. Some people prefer one not to get involved on the technical
Right,
level or feel they don't have the technical skills.
right,
Or what I have found is some people may start off thinking they don't have technical skills, but then want to learn a little bit and find out,
right.
well, maybe I can do this. So
That's right.
right. So
That's right.
that's really, really terrific. So you give people the option of doing either or, which is
Yes.
wonderful because I think a lot of people kind of panic a little like, oh, well, that's lovely, but I'm not going to be able to do that. And it's so nice to know that it's an either or you could do an and, right? You could do both if you'd
Yeah,
like. And
yeah,
I have to state that the community, like you mentioned, is so terrific. I mean, you have a wonderful web page, you have a Facebook page, and then the community, because we meet a couple of times a week, that are so willing to offer their help, their experience, their knowledge. And it makes it exciting because I love seeing people progress, learn their technical skills a little bit more every week. And then it's so satisfying for the fact that they did it. Now they're feeling good about having accomplished something maybe they didn't think they could do. And that to me is such a plus, such a plus. That is a gift. It really is a gift, but it all does gets done at a certain pace that they're comfortable with, right? And um, this group doesn't make you feel like, oh, you're, way behind all of us. They're patient, they're willing. If there's new members, just, everyone kind of supports each other. I think that's probably the best way to say it. Um, what would your uh well, I don't I guess you kind of stated this about the niche you got involved in. How did you get there? How did you decide that, although, you know, it's one thing to have technical skills, but what to do with it? I mean, I thought I just wanted to compliment the creativity of the rental situation. Wow, that something that is so creative that some people have the ability to do and never would have thought of. That's a great way to generate income. That's fabulous. So how did you get into the decision? And you may have touched on a little on that niche where you are now.
Oh, yes, I definitely can tell you this story because I think this is really important. I think everyone will understand exactly what I'm saying. So when I had my technology company, I realized very quickly that the technicians and the customers couldn't talk. They didn't know, neither one of them knew the language of the other. Okay.
Yeah, yep. Oh, I
And
do
so
know.
I ended up being an interpreter. So I had
Uh-huh.
to, even though I'm not a Microsoft engineer and I didn't really know that, I was the business end of the company. I still had to learn what it was they were talking about so that I could relay the information that they were saying in Greek, basically turn it into English when the
Yeah.
customer came in to pick up their computer or whatever we were doing at the time. So I learned early on that I had that ability and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed coming down to the level of wherever you are and then using that ability to teach people what they need to know or what they want to learn. Because some people need to know, but they don't want to learn. That's
Oh,
hard.
yeah, true. I know.
Ah, that's so funny. I have Christy and I are building a website right now for a lady who has a physical store that's opening December 1st.
Ooh.
And she sells uh, foot inserts. So they have a mold they take of your foot
Oh,
and it goes inside your shoe to help with feet pain and things like
oh,
that.
wow.
Anyway, she certainly doesn't have the time or the ability to make her own changes on the website. And she's going to have products to sell and things like that. So what she has done is hired someone to handle the website changes and
Oh,
upgrades
like a
and
webmaster.
updates. Hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another alternative. I forgot about that. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yes,
Yeah,
it
and
does.
so I was able to do the training videos to show the new person because it's already changed. The person that she hired in the first place has gone on to something else already. So
Ready.
it's a good thing we had it on video because now anybody can watch that training and they can learn how to make their own changes. So the website will be up and running, the store is up and running, but whoever comes in just needs to change out the products and things like that.
Oh my gosh, that is tremendous. And again, you pointed out a good area that it doesn't need to be all you in doing the technical stuff. If you can, to get someone like a webmaster, someone who will do that position, that is fabulous just for your company. And that's amazing. Yeah, thank you. I just want to go over, make sure, is there anything that's coming up for you that you'd like to share that maybe I haven't mentioned or asked about? I do want to definitely in the description below, in addition to everyone, subscribing to my channel, I also want you to go there and check out Marian's information where you can actually get a hold of her, get in contact with her, check out the um, uh, Facebook page or wherever you would like people to go, Marian. That information is going to be definitely down below, because your words of wisdom, I feel, have been inserted and sprinkled all throughout our conversation, which has been terrific. But is there anything that's like really sticks out for yourself that you'd like to share as far as
Certainly,
words of wisdom? Yeah.
certainly. A lot of people, especially now in this age after COVID, they want to do a lot of different things. Okay, so they may have a business and then they might have a side hustle and they might have a second side
Mm.
hustle. And a lot of people try to cram everything into one website page. And what
Ah,
I'm going to recommend for everyone is to think about the end user, the person that's coming, your client, one at a time. Look at them and say, what would they want if they came to my website? Well, some people might want to see everything. And so you could do a links page where you have a list of everything, but each thing has its own page so that you don't confuse people. So the same with me when you say, well, you could contact Marian. Well, yeah, if you went to Google and you said Marian LaSalle, it would all these different things would pop up and you might get confused about where to
right,
go.
right.
So I do have one that's my name, marianlasalle.com, but I also have websites that are specific in what I'm doing. So web
Ah,
design is one. The other one is Creative Content Crusaders, which is Christy and I in our group. Yeah, our group where we do training and teaching and the community is built there.
right.
So I don't really mention that anywhere else. I mean, it's human nature to want to tell you everything right now, all the
Ah,
stuff. But you
right,
really you should think about your client and your customer, your prospective clients and customers that are coming to your website, and see what do you think they would want to see. You want to make it clear.
right. And not only that, on the other side, um, not everyone is going to want to see everything, as you mentioned, because that may not be of interest to them. They may only want one of your areas, and it would make it, as you mentioned. I mean, I'm probably really reiterating everything you've said, saying that basically you're more focused. It's a much better way of focusing on your area, because as I mentioned, which is a perfect segue into kind of wrapping things up here today, is you're multidimensional. You have many interests,
Yes, thank
right?
you.
Yes, how
Yes,
perfect. That just kind of turned a 360 here, and I love it. Thank you for that. That, yes, that's the whole point. We're multidimensional, and you may have a niche or an interest, and maybe not all of these things are resonating with you at the moment. But if you have her information and you can check the different places, as opposed to kind of throwing everything together, I would have a hard time figuring out what it was that maybe you even did, right? What does she do again? Is she a
right.
web designer or is she a coach? What? So I think one little thing at a time, kind of being more focused, is a much better way to proceed. And those are tremendous words of wisdom, I feel, for success in anything we do, as well as just any business. So as I said, am going to have all her information below. Feel free. I want you to be able to connect to someone that you feel you can resonate and do this with. So we'll have all that information down below. Again, I mentioned, love for you to subscribe as well. But Maian's wonderful. We'd love to see you if that is something you're interested in, as well as the Creative Crusaders. That is a fabulous place to learn and be mentored, and the community. Oh my gosh, the people are so fabulous. That's the fabulous piece.
I know.
It's just warm and fuzzy and comfortable. So anyway, Maian, thank you so very much for your time
Thank
today. I
you.
know you're a very busy lady. We'll squeeze you in here and let you go for the rest of the day. But again, thank you so much. Thank you all for coming along and joining us. And I hope you make a connection with Maian and have a great rest of the day and week. Thanks again.